Yes, guys, and welcome from me, Challenge Manager 0102, the England save, the conclusion. The conclusion, well, I'm keeping you in suspense here because I didn't want to get no spoilers with a screenshot of how we were at. So I'm saying conclusion because I vowed that I'd go until the end of the Euro. So just to recap very quickly, we started this game ODB as England manager, and we participated in the World Cup where we were eliminated, as you may recall, to the eventual winners, Italy. A little bit unjust to say the fucking least. So we had a European Championship qualifying group campaign where we took it quite fucking convincingly. As you can see, 8 straight wins out of 8. Very, very happy. Now, we had a couple of friendlies before the Euro 2004. But before I go to that, this was the squad that made the Euros. Now, I think the bottom line is how does one play as England manager? Do you go by your favourites? Do you go for Michael Duff? Do you go for Cherno Samba? Or do you go, realistically, how you probably should, by merit of players? And I'll talk about merit. Michael Bridges had a few games for me. I don't know if he made the squad. I thought he did, but maybe I'm wrong. Michael Bridges, and he's moved to France and for PSG, and he was scoring goals. I gave him an England game, he got a red card. I'm always intrigued to know how people play it, if they've even done this. The biggest problem for England, I've now learned, is definitely goalkeepers. David Seaman was my main goalkeeper, but in terms of for the World Cup, and I was even considering bringing him to the Euros because he is still active. He was anyway. He is still active, and he's just signed a new contract. Fuck you, 18-month contract then. Well, just under 18 months. He's still going. I considered bringing him because I haven't really got strength in goalkeepers. You know, I mean, Ian Walker. I can't click on Walker because that's going to give a spoiler away. Ian Walker isn't really world quality. I changed my formation in my game to what I call basics. I was originally playing as something like that, and then I moved to 4-1-2-2-1. Gerrard's just been absolutely fucking shit. He never really made it. Let's just quickly go to players. You can see who didn't make it just by players that haven't got an A next to them. In fact, let's do it like that. So Robbie Fowler was never. Clint Hill and Wes Brown, both of them real consistent performers. Carragher didn't make it. Phil Neville didn't make it. Sol Campbell was always injured. Gerrard, there you see. Gareth Barry, maybe in a season or two, could have. Michael Bridges, as we were just talking about. Now you see why I brought Bridges in. But like I said, he did. Where is it? He did get me a red card. Yeah, of course he did. Prick. And who else? Any notable absentees? Well, Jeffers and Defoe. I think strikers is probably we're quite well off. So without further ado, let's just tell you how we got on in the Euros. There you see, right there, we were eliminated at the semi-final stage against Holland. Again, a little bit harsh done by. The worst part of that, right, is that we played them in a friendly before the Euros and beat them. Our group started like this against Italy, and deservedly we lost. I switched formation mid-game in that, and we came back to 3-2, hence why I decided to change it around. Scholes and Beckham were very lucky to come to the Euros, based on their Man United form. We convincingly beat the Ukraine, sporting at 4-1-2-2-1. Arsenal have won the title for the first 2 seasons, which is quite rare, and because of that, Ray Parlour thoroughly deserves it. I mean, look at that, 13 assists for season 1 and 2. Deserved to be in the England fold. Scholes didn't, Joe Cole did. We a convincing victory. We convincingly beat Sweden 2-0. I say convincingly, weren't many shots at goal. Russia, and then of course, look at Ian Walker. Right, so Ian Walker got me a 4. Yeah, was very, very disappointed with that indeed. But you know what? It's all been good fun, and you can see there I beat Holland in a friendly 2-1, albeit a little bit undeserved. I think it's fair to say. We had a friendly against Spain yet again. So I mean, let's just see: Holland, Spain, Croatia, Holland, Spain there as well. Holland, Spain. Holland. I mean, how many fucking times? Spain. How many fucking times? Right? Do you want me to play Spain? Italy seem to be our biggest bastards, but you know, generally speaking, it's actually been quite an enjoyable challenge. I am going to end the challenge there. I'm not going to continue it for another World Cup. And I said this in one of the first parts. It's fucking boring. It's so fucking boring. Yeah, the international challenge. I'm intrigued about maybe doing one with Belarus. I think you all know the reasons why I'm saying Belarus. Be an interesting one. Or at least doing this challenge again with a different nation. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought it through, but you never know. I enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this particular save. I've certainly enjoyed it. It's certainly been something different, and it's always nice to flip between my update game and the ODB. The ODB, the ODB is class. The ODB is where it's at. You see players in the ODB and you think, fuck me, I remember him. I mean, I look at Bowyer and I look up the name Bowyer and I get really angry, right? I get really angry when I see Lee Bowyer because I thought he was a cunt. Then I see Kieran Dyer and I think, Dyer, Bowyer, go and train together, guys. You know, you guys look like you'd get on well. Tommy Smith, I mean, what's also interesting, right, when you play a few seasons in, Tommy Smith moved to Real Sociedad, and obviously I've got Spain open, and look how well he did at Sociedad, because it don't happen very often. Joe Cole made the move as well to Spain, and pretty convincing first season. I think it's half a season, shall I say? Sorry. I mean, he's had a good season all round, hasn't he? But yeah, credit where it's due. Wes Brown. Now let me show you Wes Brown. Look how well Wes Brown did last season. Now Man United, as I said, won the title last season, but Arsenal won the, that was just absolutely insane. Really was. And a very, very surprised player that made it to the Euro squad was Darren Anderton, and he made it purely on merit. I have got Scotland open. That's why I feel it's a genuine form guide of 10 goals, 10 assists for Celtic in 38, which is a pretty good return for an attacking midfielder. But he was 32. I mean, Nicky Butt looks the bollocks. I mean, there is certainly potential in this squad. If anyone wants to consider doing such a save, you could probably get. I mean, Scholes. I mean, look how shit Scholes has been for Man United. Now you know why I was contemplating not playing him. David Beckham. I mean, Beckham last season was awful. But if you look very carefully, he had 8 games in the CM calendar year, and he's 7, 8, 9. He did really well for England, a bit like Harry Maguire of today. Ekiog wouldn't make the next squad for the World Cup. Ray Parlour wouldn't, Ian Walker wouldn't, Darren Anderton wouldn't. But in terms of goalkeepers, I think you're looking really. I mean, Richard Wright, I gave him a little bit of action, I think. Okay, one bit of action. Chris Kirkland, they just don't play. They don't play. The English goalkeepers just don't get a run out at all. Obviously, I could look to as a B team. I didn't even look at that. Never looked at that at all. Titus, I mean, there's a lot of players that are fringe players that could really step it up. It would appear that Steven Gerrard just doesn't make it. He really don't. I mean, Jolene Lescott, forgot about him. Stuart Parnaby, is that, yeah? Anyway, that's that. So as I said, guys, hope you enjoyed it. And until next time from me, take it easy.